Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to the story of Ella and Alec continued. We're kind of on season 2 now, if you've forgotten. This is Agatha. 1 second, I'm shivering inside Jacoby's castle. The next moment, I stand in a country garden. Warm breezes caress my skin. Jacoby waits nearby. As so often happens with this guy, his features are both handsome and readable. You said we were heading for Earth, I declare. True. Your listening skills are commendable. What a sarcastic ass. Will I never back down from Manchester or Ivy? I certainly won't start grovelling to Jacoby. Guess what? I also have the power of observation. I shoot Jacoby a look that encompasses a single idea. Duh. We're still in fairylands. Whatever makes you say that? This place is too lovely. A thought appears. The instant idea hits my mind. I know that it's the truth. This is your secret home. If my words shock Jacoby, he doesn't show it. Perhaps. And you've magically protected it from predators too. Now Adele can't get to us here, can she? Jacoby sighs. You're tiresome. I'm also right. Jacoby steps closer, so I've noticed. His dark eyes reflect the rising moon in strange ways. My stomach twists with an emotion I don't know how to name. Something comes alive in my chest. It's that unsettling buzz, which means my magic is on the move. All of a sudden, a patch of moonlight appears on a nearby path. Then it rises. The moonbeam congeals into a pulsing ball. A name appears in my mind. Will-o'-the-wisp. These lead travellers off their chosen trails into danger. Part of me screams that I should have run in the opposite direction, no question about it. A will-o'-the-wisp for bad news, but more of me is entranced by what looks like a tiny moon. The will-o'-the-wisp races off. I follow. The world around me turns hazy. My body goes numb. I speed through the maze of looming trees and tall hedges. My feet easily find a path where there should be none. All the while I keep my arms outstretched, ready to catch the will-o'-the-wisp. No matter what I do, it stays out of reach. Although I'm mostly blocked off from the world, I'm still vaguely aware that Jacoby trails behind me, calling out my name. I can't seem to make myself care, though. The will-o'-the-wisp is so bright and perfect, I could just hold it. Everything would be right forever. Then it vanishes. The dreamy haze disappears from my mind, the world returns. I sense the soft breeze and gentle chirp of crickets. And turning round, I find myself standing in a clearing. Tall trees loom about, enclosing the area in a makeshift circle. In the centre of the space, there stands a statue of a man and a woman. Both of them wear crowns. Jacoby steps toward me and the stone figures. What are you doing here? I followed the will-o'-the-wisp. Jacoby frowns. Or you cast one, and just wish me to think you were misled. I bob my head, angling for a better view of the statues, but each time I shift, Jacoby moves to block my view. Clearly, you don't want me to look at those two. You must know that only makes them more interesting. Jacoby eyes me for a long moment. Next, he raises his hand to his chest height, with his palms facing each other. His horns appear, which is something I've never seen happen at all before. With a flash, an oval blue light appears between Jacoby's palms. I've never seen this before. And there's no question what's happening. Jacoby is about to cast a spell. You want to transport me away from here, don't you? Jacoby rolls his eyes. What gave it away? We all have our secrets, as well as a right to keep them. I gently rest my hands on my wrist. Don't waste your power. I'll leave if you want me to. Jacoby tilts his head. For a long moment, the orb still hovers between his palms. At last, Jacoby lowers his arms. You may look at the statues. What made you change your mind? Jacoby narrows his eyes. I'm curious why you chose to come here. Your reaction to the statues may tell me a lot. I already told you, it wasn't a conscious decision. We'll see. Jacoby steps to one side. I move in for a closer look. These two figures carry the kind of ethereal beauty that is so particular to elves. Such an aristocratic bone structure, wide mouths and lean bodies. Taken together, their features remind me of a particular person. Jacoby. No question about it. These are his parents. The inscription reads, "Rest in peace." I'm sorry your parents passed away. What makes you say that? There's no missing the family resemblance, and the inscription is easy enough to find. Jacoby folds his arms over his chest. Anything else? My parents are gone too. How can you be sure? I shrug. I just know things sometimes. Like how you found this spot. Now, I've seen the share of courtroom television shows. On them, the lead prosecutor gets a certain tension in his body when cross-examining a lying witness. That's the precise stance Jacoby carries right now. He so thinks he has me on this one. Hey, I might have cast a spell without knowing it. I'm an elf after all. And why would you want to visit these statues? Jacoby moves closer. Are you searching out my weak spots? Planning to destroy me? His words shouldn't cut so deeply, but they do. It's like this, I reply. I've been near you for years, but we never really spent time together before. Back at the garden, you looked at me so intensely, I guess it made some part of me curious about you. Jacoby moves closer. With gentle movements, he wipes the mascara from beneath my eyes. Everywhere he touches me, he leaves a trail of awareness. You're such a strange one, Agatha. All these years growing up, I swallow past the nervous lump that just lodged in my throat. Did you ever wonder about me? No. But perhaps I should have. My eyes widen in shock. 1 minute Jacoby accuses me of trying to destroy him. The next thing I know, he's all touchy-feely and sweet. Normally, I have a sassy comeback for any situation. It goes along with spending years of quality time with Marchesa and Ivy. But right now, they've got nothing. So I turn away and examine the statues some more. It's a lot easier than trying to figure out Jacoby. Your parents are beautiful. They died 20 years ago. How does that work? You're 18. Oh, my parents cast an enchanted cradle. It produced a new son every 9 months until my youngest brother, Zenok, was born. There are 24 of us in all. Oh, there were. A phrase, you know, is dead. An enchanted cradle? I've never heard of that. Elves aren't known for their ability to procreate. My parents wanted to keep the throne safe. Jacoby turns to look at the statues again. His profile is so handsome in the moonlight, it almost hurts to look at him. Mother and father left a number of personal journals behind for his children to read. Excellent advice. Although I've never met them, I feel as if my parents are the ones who keep me alive. Although after meeting you, perhaps having a daughter would have been more effective succession plan. Before Jacoby's anger filled in the air around us, now a gentle silence takes his place. It's as if we're old friends who don't need to speak in order to understand each other. I crave this connection to go deeper. The inscription of the statue's base says they died in the Vassal Wars. I've never heard of that. At one time, every fiefdom was a vassal either to Sealy or Unsealy Court. When those two went to war, they summoned all their fiefdoms to fight as well. My family was aligned to the Unsealy. When asked, my parents went into battle. Their bodies were never found. Do you know if this is how your parents looked? Jacoby narrows his eyes, and I sense a menace falls between us. Do you? What a shock. Jacoby's back to being a dick. No. And in case you're wondering, your moves are shifting so quickly, you're giving me whiplash. When Jacoby next speaks, his voice takes on a gruff edge. The Fairylands are a tangle of alliances and betrayal. To stay alive, I must know whether or not I can trust you. If my attitude shifts, it's because you confuse me too. The moment I decide that you're one thing, you do something that proves otherwise. I worry my lower lip with my teeth. This might be a terrible moment to bring up this idea, but then again, a better opportunity may never show up. If you want to know the truth about me, then please take me to the ruins of the Sealy Palace. It's supposed to hold a magic mirror that strips away all enchantments. That way, we'll both know the truth. Or I'll step into an ambush. Jacoby's mouth winds into a knowing smile. My dear Agatha, now I'll never take you to that spot. Why not? To manipulate others into doing your bidding. You must learn to be far more subtle. If you tried to persuade me to avoid the Sealy Palace, then I'd have dragged you there in a heartbeat. My shoulders sunk with weight of disappointment. Jacoby is right. I have no idea what I'm doing. I shake my head. I'm not that kind of person who speaks in double truths and hidden lies. Ivy says that I'm an awkward beam of light, shining into places that are best left in shadow. Jacoby moves even closer. This time is near enough that I sense his body heat. The prince sets his knuckle under my chin, and little by little Jacoby lifts my gaze to meet his. For a long moment he scans my face. I'm not a liar, I declare. No fears. That's why we speak in double truths. For a moment my heart soars. Does that mean we're going to the Sealy Palace? Jacoby chuckles. I do enjoy learning new games. Do you know what I think yours is? You pretend not to play. He drops his hand the moment I lose his touch. It's like the temperature drops 20 degrees. How very devious of you, adds Jacoby. But it still won't work. You can forget any up. I'll take you to the Sealy Palace. Once again, Jacoby goes from one extreme to another. It's enough to make a girl crazy. I set my fists on my hips. Here's what you don't get about me. I'll find a way to those ruins anyway. At my words, Jacoby's eyes widened ever so slightly. Some eyes struck another nerve. I just wish I knew which one. Is he frightened, intrigued, angry? The man works the finest poker face ever. I simply must figure him out. It's my best way to discover that mirror. And that's the next part of Ella and Alec's story. There's something with Agatha and Jacoby, but I don't know what it is yet. Could it be that he is unseelie and she's seelie, and that there's this big war going off between the courts? Because we know there's a war going off in Fairylands, or a war coming, because that's what we were told, remember, in the last book. Colonel Mallory had to go because of this particular war. Now, if that's the case, could it be that this unseelie and seelie can come together to build the bridge of the war, like, so the war doesn't happen? I don't know. It could be something like that. I mean, I'm just speculating. It could be a lot of things. Thank you for listening to this episode, and many blessings.